Hey, welcome back. Now, January is Cervical Cancer Awareness Month, and this afternoon I have Dr. Anjalika Gandhi to talk more about the different types of gynecological cancers and how we can hopefully get more people screened. Doctor, thank you so much for being here. It's not a fun topic, but it is important, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Tell me a little bit about when it comes to, because we said prevention, because unfortunately the warning signs aren't like loud blaring like a lump in your chest or, like a really hard cough that won't go away. This is different.
Yeah, so cervical cancer takes many years to develop and is primarily associated with HPV, or human papillomavirus. It's a sexually transmitted virus that many people will be exposed to over their lifetime. But the difference between those who don't have any cervical cancer and those who do is that HPV lingers, and over about 5, 10, 15 years can actually cause precancerous and then, if undetected, cancerous changes. So you don't really see any symptoms, but we can detect signs of precancer with pap smears.
But as anyone who has a cervix and knows the joys of pap smears, it's not like it's the most comfortable thing. And of course, sometimes this is a delicate conversation, and I'd prefer not to have it. Being a lady, let's just not speak of these things. Why is that not the best mode of action to go with?
Yeah, so cervical cancer, in my opinion, is one of the cancers that we shouldn't even be seeing anymore, right? And sometimes you see these young women with advanced stage cervix cancer, and once it's advanced stage, it's very difficult to cure. But we can cure it before it even becomes a cancer. And so that's why it's important to go to the doctor, get your pap smear. And I understand it's uncomfortable. I understand that there, among certain populations, may be mistrust of medical providers. But if you look at it from the perspective of, I want to live long enough that I can be around for my family, making sure that you find a provider you're comfortable with, and then getting that pap smear and that HPV test is so important.
And when you talk about trust of doctors, sometimes is the fact of maybe I won't be listened to, or it won't be taken seriously. So what is the best course of action? Like we said, moms or women of the household, or just honestly just the matriarchal character, tends to not always take care of themselves, but we definitely take care of everybody else. What are steps we need to take? As we said pap smears, but what else makes the most sense to prepare ourselves?
Yeah, so pap smears are important, but also HPV vaccination. So there is a vaccine on the market, and the vaccine has evolved quite a bit in the last 20 years. But we have data to show that vaccination with that can reduce the rates of HPV transmission, which in turn reduces the rates of high-grade cervical dysplasia, also known as precancer, which in turn reduces the rates of cervical cancer.
So it's a domino effect. If I take care of one thing, honestly, I'm most likely eradicating other problems in the future.
Yes, and we can eradicate cervical cancer. That is my belief, but we have a long way to get there.
And when you said cure, and I don't want to misquote or say the wrong thing, when you said cure, because when I think cancer, there is no cure, but you're saying that things can be taken care of.
Yeah, so it can be cured before it becomes a cancer. That's what prevention is, number one. And then also in early stages of cervical cancer, we can cure. But once it becomes a much more advanced stage, it is very difficult to cure.
In terms of difficulty, because the numbers, in a sense, because I always hear, stage 3, stage 4.
Right.
Basically, am I going to start losing limbs, or is it kind of just like an overall process, in your medical opinion?
Yeah, so difficult to cure, meaning when we're trying to say, can we completely eradicate all of those cancer cells, the percentage or probabilities are lower once you get to stage 3. For example, in stage 1, we may be looking at an 85 to 95% cure rate, meaning the cancer doesn't come back within 5 years. In stage 4, we're not talking about a cure anymore. We're talking about a chronic illness that we're continuing to treat you with. Stage 3, there are cure rates, but they're overall pretty low, maybe 20%, 25%. And so we want you to be in the 100%, and 100% is detecting it before it becomes a cancer.
So not ignoring it, accepting the fact that pap smears are a thing we got to get. And then just acknowledging the fact that this is something that happens and it's not genetic. We said the risks are, one more time, how do you, in a sense, get into this line of cervical cancer?
Yeah, so the risks for cervical cancer are mostly not showing up for your pap smears. Also, high-risk sexual behavior, so multiple sexual partners, not using condoms or barrier methods. And then also, actually, one thing we didn't discuss earlier, smoking.
Ooh.
So tobacco use, HPV loves that nicotine. And so those who are tobacco users have a higher risk of the HPV lingering and not being cured, and of it transforming into a cancer. And then, of course, not having had the HPV vaccine, which, just to put a plug, is available for people who are 9 to 45. That's been recently expanded, and all genders.
Well, then, honestly, unfortunately, we're not fear-mongering. We're literally letting you know it's easy. Also, cigarettes are incredibly expensive, so stop buying them. Just continue to improve your health and acknowledge the fact that taking care of yourself makes everything better.
Absolutely.
Dr. Gandhi, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you for
I feel like
having
we
me.
can all do it because, again, it is preventative, but so we're going to continue to have a conversation. You can do it more with your doctor. We will be right back.